All right, welcome everybody to this regular called meeting of the Temple City Council to conduct a workshop on June 6, 2024. It's currently 2:45 in the afternoon. Item number one is to receive any public comments. Okay, there being none, we'll move right on to the work session. And item number one in the work session is to discuss if maybe needed any regular meeting agenda items for the meeting posted for tonight's regular meeting. My understanding is Councilmember Cookington will need to abstain from consent agenda item 4I. Is that right? Okay, that's out of it. Yep. Staff or council members, anything else on the consent or regular meeting agenda that needs to be pulled for further discussion or consideration for just general discussion?
Mayor, I just point out that items N and O on the consent agenda are requesting your ratification of an agreement that we have already executed. So I do appreciate your support on that for the cleanup efforts related to storm recovery.
Yep. Very good. Anything else? Moving on to item 2 is to receive a presentation regarding the Barnhart Neighborhood Planning District. Ms. Smith.
So you all have some really neat bags there in front of you. Belinda outdid herself once again. So the Barnhart Neighborhood Planning District is our southeasternmost planning district that you can see there. Here is the proximity map that kind of shows you in context on how far away we are to the different areas. And you can see that the closest neighborhood planning district is KeyMed. It also shows some major entries and exits into the neighborhood. I would say that this is probably much different of a planning area than we've seen in the past. This is north. It's just easier to show the map this way. So this is north right here. So the northern part of this neighborhood planning district is developed, but they are very large lot developments. They're more agricultural in uses. Where then south of Barnhart Road, you really see a lot of changes going on. So previously undeveloped area, we now have Sampson Howard Elementary School, most constructed over there. You have a lot of single family going in. So just a much different neighborhood than we've seen with the other ones. So just going through this, we did have an extensive public engagement process with everyone that was a resident out there, as well as business owners. We conducted several different focus group meetings. We held regular meetings with the external planning team. We did our MPD news edition to showcase the plan and get any feedback from residents and business owners. And lastly, we do take this to several boards before coming to you all. The Historic Preservation Board, the Neighborhood Revitalization Advisory Board, the Planning and Zoning Commission all recommended approval of the neighborhood plan. And then we also took it to the Temple ISD Board as well.
Barnhart neighborhood's a place to be. Country living in our city. Houses spreading out so far and wide. Keep West Temple, just give me that countryside. This neighborhood's a place to stay. Lots of room for kids to run and play. New school being built right nearby and down the road from Tractor Supply. The goats, the land, the trail, the plan. This is life. No big city strife. Barnhart, we are there.
Did himself again. He's so talented. I love that he's taken it over. I think all the other MPD team members do as well. We're We're not as good of singers as we do. So, as I was saying, so this is your land uses here. So you can see the change. So you can see here over on the north side, which is on the left-hand side of your screen, that agricultural use. And then as you go south, south of Barnhart, you can see that the changes to the single-family area in the school. We did a sidewalk conditions analysis, and I am happy to report that all of the sidewalks are in excellent condition. They were just installed, so I would hope they would be. And so then we look at an opportunity.
Wait, just the ones that exist.
Yeah, there's no others.
Exactly.
Exactly.
The three you have are
You can only get better
Exactly.
from here.
I just had to make that, I had good friends who live in the area,
Yes.
I get many calls.
Well, maybe we can get them. We have some recommendations here for more sidewalks in the
Good.
neighborhood.
Good.
So we look at the opportunities and constraints map here. So as I mentioned, we have the elementary school under construction, and we are looking at some safe routes to the school. Also looking at some connections between Barnhart and Blackland, looking at expansion right of way for I-14, looking at existing roads in the area as well. We've had a focus on Barnhart and Blackland because school and new residential neighborhoods, but looking at Dogwood Lane, for example, that is a road that is in poor condition. Also, there's a major drainage corridor that you can see at the top there on the far east of the plan area that really travels throughout the neighborhood that we think is a great opportunity. Looking at this is our transportation plan recommendations that you can see, and I'll go through all of those. So this is Little River Road, recommending a 4-lane roadway with 2 travel lanes going in either direction with a 10-foot side path to accommodate pedestrians and bicyclists on one side and sidewalks on the other. And then the other is a Barnhart Road that is a community collector, and that is being constructed with 3 lanes, 2 travel lanes and a center turn lane, and a 10-foot side path on one side and an 8-foot on the other side. And then we have a community collector as well. We are recommending the addition of a new community collector. You can see on the top there, that's an additional east-west collector street that we think would be good for the future, and that would hopefully be 2 travel lanes and a center turn lane and a side path and sidewalk.
That's the dotted line.
Yes, that's correct. So it'd be very southern part of the neighborhood. And then a neighborhood collector, another new one that we think as development occurs, we want to make sure that we have that connectivity. So we think it would be a great opportunity to leading from Highway 95 to Little River Road. You can see in the dotted line as well. So this one would be 2 travel lanes with parking on both sides and then a sidewalk on both sides separated by a planting buffer. We're also recommending a neighborhood collector traveling north-south, so over there to the southern boundary all the way north to Barnhart, Blackland Road. And that would be 2 travel lanes with parking on both sides. I'm going to get into some more detail about the linear park that I spoke about. But you can see there of how we would like to see a nice large corridor for that to accommodate a wide trail, and then a sidewalk on the other side. And then our pedestrian connectors. So we talked about Dogwood Lane. So we think that there's a great opportunity to see Dogwood Lane be redeveloped. So it's in poor condition right now. We think it needs to do that. Then also providing a connection over there to Barnhart. And we think that's a great opportunity with the addition of a 4-foot sidewalk on one side, as well as some other pedestrian connectors within the new neighborhood to the south there of the elementary school that would provide that safe routes to school connectivity for the children going to school there. Here is our enhancement focus map. So this is where we identify. So we really, you'll see as we get through this presentation, try to maintain the existing development there, the estate style, agricultural type of development that goes on there. We are identifying a linear park that generally goes along the drainage way, but it would effectively lead from the south to the north of the neighborhood boundary. Identifying that school campus and future expansion area. as well as some commercial that we think would be very appropriate along 95 and 190. And then single family, we see that would probably continue to the south. So here is an exhibit of the linear park. As I mentioned, we saw the drainage corridor as an opportunity. And so we think it's a great opportunity to have a nice linear park that would go there. And it would also provide a great buffer between the existing residential and future commercial that could be along 95. And so what you could have there is a nice trail system that would run along the drainage way. In the area in the very southeast of the neighborhood, we think that's an opportunity for a community park as well. So having some fields and play structures for children. Here's an exhibit that really shows you how access to the linear park could be. So, you do have the drainage, the creek area. And so we see that there's an opportunity for there to possibly be some bridge structure. So it would lead there to connect the commercial over to that trail system. This is a little bit closer look into that community park. So remember, this is the southeast portion of the neighborhood. So kind of where, that linear trail starts. And so you can see we show some locations. You have some future commercial along that new community collector, also along State Highway 95. Just kind of transitioning into the neighborhood behind that commercial off 95 could be some more higher intensity types of land uses. So townhomes or apartments leading into the single family. But looking at the community park, in general, you have the trail system, but there's just opportunities for playground structures, recreation fields, and other things. We also have a utility lines that run through there so that, we try to avoid putting anything in there because we understand that we're very limited in what we can do with this, but there is an opportunity to have a trail system.
Hey, Erin,
Yes.
has all this been annexed?
Where's
I
the city
think
limit line? So I thought I remember in one of our meetings, we
Hold on,
were
sorry.
thinking beyond the city limits, eventually they would be.
Yeah, so the city limits you can see is this line right here, the red dotted line. So yes, we are. The southern part of the neighborhood is outside of the city.
If that were to be annexed, it would theoretically be annexed into the Ferguson Park neighborhood.
To the Barnhart, yes.
I mean Barnhart, sorry, yeah.
Yes, yeah, this is our planning boundary.
Yes,
So yes, it would be, if it was annexed into the city of Temple, it's a part of the Barnhart neighborhood plan.
I'm glad y'all are thinking beyond just the city limits.
Oh, yeah.
really,
Most
really,
definitely.
very good to do that.
Thank you. Glad you brought that up. I should have brought that up with that slide. Thank you, Tracy. So. right here. Where was I? Here I go. Oh, and then this is just another exhibit that shows a little bit more about those park planning elements. We think it would be really fun to have some practice fields out there, sports courts, maybe a splash pad. But then also, we saw some opportunity too with the play structures that we could build on the original neighborhood with, the farm look. So you can see some play structures there that really bring in those elements. We did focus as well. So you're going to see as we move on here that there's a strong focus because we really see this. It's one neighborhood planning district, but there's a very large difference between the area to the north in the Barnhart planning district and then the area basically from the school south. And so this is really the area in the north that goes to the Loop and 95 is more of your estate neighborhood. And so we have given it its own name. So we've kind of branded this area within the larger neighborhood planning district. And we're identifying that as what we call green acres. And so you can see, really what this neighborhood is. There's several different agricultural uses. It really has that pastoral feel to it. So you have a lot of livestock, barn structures, farmhouses, and just really large properties. So that makes it much different than what we're seeing with the new development. There's some branding that our consultants came up with for that specific area to give it its own identity. So it's still within the neighborhood plan, the Barnhart neighborhood planning district, but like I said, it has a different feel. So we came up with Green Acres Barnhart. And moving on, we talked about the State Highway 95 commercial edge. We think that there's an opportunity for future commercial development that could serve the neighborhood, existing and new, within this area. And so you can see that we're showing, really limiting the amount of parking that would be along the street edge, kind of putting that to the back of the commercial properties, enhancing the landscape. Looking at access management as well, not having driveways, more of your cross access opportunities, and making sure that we have that look. The new neighborhood, as we were mentioning, and thank you again to Skip. So, as y'all recall, this is the city limits line right down here. So going south, that is not currently within the city, but we did look at it and you have a feeling that we could see, this is the type of development that we could see there. And so we wanted to be really purposeful and look at that ahead of time as, more development comes in and try to get ahead. We also want to make sure that as we look for this, we see opportunities for connectivity internally from these neighborhoods to the school. So students don't have to get off onto like Little River or State Highway 95 to get to the school to walk. So I know the planning team has done a really good job at already coordinating with the developer of the existing area there to make sure that I think it's Boggy Creek Drive, if I remember correctly, is going to come south. So that's actually going to, instead of stopping here, that will come down and stop at the edge of the boundary. And then you'll have that internal sidewalk connectivity. And so hopefully that can then come down this way. So as we get those in, we can make sure that the students have a safe corridor and walking back to the school. So you can see that we see a little bit of difference. We're proposing some large lot, single family. This is kind of similar to what you see in the Green Acres area, but not as large lot. It's more of like your half acre tracts as opposed to like one acre or larger tracts that you would see in the Green Acres area. And then in the little bit darker yellow here, kind of the medium yellow, I should call it, those are more of your 60-foot wide single family lots, which you typically see in a lot of single family neighborhoods that are newer. And then, like I said, is the buffer from the commercial on, we see a little bit more higher in density. So the brown here is more of your multifamily townhomes, and then the darkest yellow would be a little bit smaller lot, single family, but those would be alley loaded. But higher density than what you typically see with your traditional single family neighborhood. Here's some neighborhood branding. So really building on the theme of how this neighborhood started, it's very agricultural in nature. So you see a lot of beautiful sunflowers out there, barns. And so we wanted to keep that traditional alive. And so you can see that within our branding elements. Here's some examples of street sign toppers and neighborhood monuments, and not your traditional stone brick monument. This area is very different. We feel more of the wood look. And then this is where we came up with our proposed projects. As y'all know, we have some that have been done or are underway. So Blackland, of course, is done. Barnhart's being worked on. We're also looking at some others as well. And this shows you a plan for that linear trail that could go along that drainage corridor, as well as the community park to the south. And with that, I'm happy to answer any questions you have.
Nelson, anything for Aaron?
I don't think that, have any of y'all had your neighborhood going through this process? Yeah, Eric has. They're doing mine right now, and y'all are doing such a phenomenal job on these, and you're listening to the people, and
Yeah, I think Belinda's boots on the ground, but
yeah,
that's what really does it.
it
A
is.
lot of people like that personal touch, so.
Oh, sure.
I know it takes a lot of effort and time, but it's
Wow.
worth it, I think.
One, it's nice because they feel comfortable, so they contact her directly. They feel comfortable. Even plants that we.
That's nice. Everybody's favorite.
She brings things to the neighborhood planning. We meet every Friday, and she's like, "Okay, I got one for everybody."
I'm excited about seeing the vision for my neighborhood and what it could be. And this is a different deal, even though Buford dissed my neighborhood in his song, but.
This is truly visionary for what's there now. I mean, it's incredible.
Mhm.
It's
I like you
exciting.
kept the goats.
Yes.
My friend is the goat pusher.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah,
Oh, great.
and he called me up and he said, the goats are still there.
Well, I have to say, that was really, when we heard feedback from the residents, and Nancy, correct me, Belinda, correct me if I'm wrong, but that was very important to keep that part of the neighborhood the way it is. So we want to do that.
This is a good program, doing what we're doing with these neighborhoods.
Thank you.
Yes, you bet. Thank you, man.
I think about $100 a year, you know, it's like totally different now.
All right, next we will receive, thank you. Next we'll receive departmental updates from customer care, library, and strategic innovation. You're up.
Good afternoon. I have a very short update for you on our 3 divisions, so utility, business, office, metering, and the soon-to-be 311 contact center operation. So year to date, this was for the first 7 months, so through May 31st, utility, business, office, just kind of a snapshot. We've taken over 266,000 payments. We do have a 40, almost, I looked this morning, it was 40.89, I think, % enrollment in Invoice Cloud. So almost half of our customers have gone in and enrolled their utility accounts in our new portal, which we are very excited about. We have processed over 2,300 new accounts. So when you think about the number of houses and meters and things that are being added, that's one thing, but you don't think about the people that move from one address to another every 6 months or every 8 months. So we process those just the same as we would a brand new construction home. So those are ones that my staff has set up new accounts on. And then we also assisted with the Airfest. We were in charge of the ticket booths for Airfest. And then our staff came in and helped with the EOC call center when we activated after the tornado.
You ran the EOC call.
We ran the EOC call
Not just
center.
helped with it.
We did, and it was a kind of me going, we need 311, because we struggled at first to talk about what phone number are we going to advertise, how are people going to contact us to find the resources, and even Brenda and I talked, like, this is going to be good. So hopefully we don't have another tornado, but if we do, we'll be better. We'll be ready to answer questions. Hopefully a little more organized. Invoice Cloud, these are just some numbers from the online payment portal. So if you see on the right, the dark blue, over 6,200 of our recurring credit card customers that had to re-enroll have done so. So we're proud of that. And actually, we have more credit card auto pay customers now than we do bank draft, which is the dark red. These are just the numbers that were processed in May. So we do have some people using PayPal and Venmo. It's not as popular as I thought it would be, but I'm kind of excited to see the auto pay because that's pretty big.
I mean, would you go back, I mean, just send in just a good old check.
So these are just the online payments. We take about 36 to 38,000 payments of some sort every month.
Yeah.
And I would say, I think the number is around 5,000 that still mail a check.
Okay.
We still get them.
Yeah.
And we still have people that actually bring us a check. And they don't go through the drive-through, they park it.
Bruce cutting edge.
Oh, yeah. He was writing a check and while driving with his knee and he ran into our neighbor's mailbox. Why are you writing a check?
Yeah.
Start there.
Yeah.
Down the road.
Do you not go to auto pay?
No, but I was curious, with the credit card auto pay, does the city require a fee? for
No,
them to
we do
use
not
that?
charge a fee. We actually pay that fee. We pay quite a bit in credit card fees every year. But
Yeah.
Which get paid.
Right.
Right.
Is the auto pay thing a similar cost of credit card?
it's the exact same. It's processed just like a payment. It's just, you don't have to make it, we make it for you.
And you're saying you only get 5,000?
Mailed,
Checks.
about 5,000 mailed payments.
Unbelievable.
How do you pay?
Pardon?
How do you pay?
My husband pays by mail because he doesn't trust anybody.
But he trusts the mail.
Yeah. Not really.
We've had some, and I had a slide in here that had some challenges, and I actually had the US Postal Service's one. I thought that's probably not a really good thing to put up there, but now that we bring it up, it is a challenge for us, people getting their bills, and that's why we encourage them to register with Invoice Cloud. You don't have to do one or the other, you can get both, but at least you get an email that says your bill's ready. So if you don't see it in the mail, you know. I mean, you should know you get one every month anyway, but.
The second he figures out he can drive down there and hand it to you, he will.
Yeah, in the members' mail.
Just don't write the check while you're driving.
Yeah, Bruce can. They can go together. We can visit them together in the slammer.
And this was the registrations. It was 38,001 customers. And so of those, 15,448 were registered as of the 31st. So going forward, we are going to have a couple of chairs in that 311 contact center space for just utility business office calls. With the high volume that we get, instead of it ringing downstairs in the office where everybody does everything, we'll have a couple of seats in there where people will just be able to get assistance with utility billing calls. We are in the right in the middle of setting up for MuniLink, our new billing software. So that won't affect the public. That'll be just internal how we process our things. And the thing we're most excited and looking forward to about that is going paperless with our work orders, because right now we still print work orders and metering folks come in and they pick them up, take them to the field and bring them back. So we're, I don't know if they're looking forward to it in the field, but we are looking forward to not having that paper. For metering, year to date, we have processed almost 19,000 work orders. We have changed out 2,287 meters, and then we have repaired 383 meter leaks.
The work orders are for new meters?
The work orders are for everything. So new customers, meter changes,
Oh,
meter
okay.
leaks.
So there's a combination there.
Missing a lid, my box is broken,
Okay.
reread my meter, that kind of thing. So looking forward in metering, the summer rush, from about spring break until about the first week in August is our super busy time of year. Everybody moves in the summer. We do see a large number of residents that come in for Scott and White, I guess medical students and residents that come in. So we have a large number of work orders that we've processed this time of year. So we get pretty busy. Mobile app calling, we actually have already purchased it. Brandon and Kelly's team is working on getting that on some of our metering technicians' phones, so that our service technicians now that go out to turn on and turn off water, if they need to reach the customer for some reason, they call the office and we call the customer. And we're going to have an app added to their phone where they can call them from the app and it looks like the office is calling. So it'll be the city's number, the utility business office number that actually is calling the customer, not a technician's cell phone. And then of course the mobile or paperless work orders. And just a quick update on the 311 project. Discovery sessions with Catalyst, who's our consultant, will be the week of June 24th. They're actually going to be here on site. So we will have meetings that we set up with every department for a couple of hours to go through and start talking about how we can help them, what their pain points are. We'll be building out the customer relationship management software and all the integrations into the other departments. We will hire soon. We will advertise to hire 3 of the community solution specialists, which will be the agents that will take the calls, the chats, the emails, and be able to help the community. And then training for those. So we will start training when we hire in July and hope to train and have all of this built and in place for a soft launch in the fall, for a total launch to the public in January. And just a reminder on the consolidated contact center, the things we're working on building out, self-service portal. So that'll be where customers can go on an app or the website and say, hey, I need help with this, or I saw this, I saw a pothole, this light's out. 311 enabled dialing, that is a task in itself to get a 311 phone number. It's a pain point, but Kelly and Brandon are working on that. We will also have a 7-digit phone number, so we're trying to get 298-5000. We actually don't have that phone number, so we're trying to get that one, so it's an easy number to remember. So if you don't want to dial 311, you can dial 298-5000, hopefully. So working on that. Knowledge base, that's going to be our single source of truth. So all of the information that people could call and ask for or need help with will be in one place, and we'll be able to update that with departments and make sure that we're keeping everything up to date and current. And then again, the customer relationship management, it's going to be our service request tracking platform, and we'll have client profiles or customer profiles or citizen profiles, where if Mr. Davis calls about potholes and lights, so we'll be able to see under his profile everything that he's called about.
Habitual.
What if I'm out in county? Are we gonna cover that one?
We won't pick up your brush either.
We will send you an annexation petition.
But I will try to get you to the right place. So we're gonna also try to have just kind of the surrounding areas resources. Right now in the business office, we have people call for water service that aren't inside the city limits.
Yeah.
And we have a map that you can kind of click where they are, and it tells us which water district to send them
I
to.
did see where the county has hired a contractor to pick up for us.
Saw that.
That's good.
Did you call back your?
I lost that phone number.
And tonight on the agenda, there's an item to purchase furniture to furnish the contact center space. We've had a little bit of a change. We were going to build, if you see up in the top there, that corner, we were going to actually build out a supervisor's office with sheetrock and walls, and time, and this is more cost effective. We're going to just have like a larger cubicle area with a sliding door. But this will be where the agents actually sit and either take the calls, like I say, chat, email, or process the things that come in through the app or online.
But they will not interact with the public, right? I mean, they're just there, just answering phone calls, getting them out where they need to go. They're not gonna have some upset customer come up there and spend time. That's gonna happen.
This is not,
the regular-
this is not public facing.
Okay,
So
good.
this is in the second story,
Right.
the second floor
Right.
secured area. You know, a lot of the 311 centers that we've looked at, I won't say a lot, probably half, the bigger cities anyway, do have a walk-in where you can kind of get help with anything.
Right.
So future, that might be something we look at. I don't know, though, the more we talk about it, people just really want to self-serve. They want to do the things they don't want to talk to anybody. They want to be able to help themselves. And so we're going to try to build this to where they can, or they can chat. I know that's a big thing for me. If I pick up my phone and I go to a website and there's a chat box, I'm going to push that and hope I get a person. And that's what we're going to shoot for, is it'll be a live chat with a person, not just AI.
And not a camera.
And not
Medical visit.
no, no video visits. No video. So yeah, it'll be phone, text, chat, email, and then yeah, that'll be.
And I think you did tell us that Track Temple is gonna go away.
This will replace that. So the app is called Track Temple. We can call it something different if we want. That'll kind of be up to, you guys in marketing and what you think is best. If we want to just take Track Temple, since it's already or somewhat established, and just put this into that app, we can do that.
Wouldn't there just be huge confusion if we take it away?
I think so. People don't like change, but I don't know. I mean, I don't know how many people really use the app. I haven't seen the Acela numbers lately. I know there weren't a lot. There's not a lot of activity on it.
Oh,
There's not a lot of activity. I can't tell you the numbers, but it's low.
So we might just refresh it and call it the same thing and maybe just give it a new look, just change the icon or change the way it looks, but still, if you have it, it'll just be an update, maybe. That's all I have.
Very good. It's been amazing, not amazing, that's probably another thing, but it's been interesting to see all the calls that are what I would consider, and I don't, council members, probably everybody, that I would consider to be fairly minor, that people are really mad about some service that didn't happen. Okay, it's like it's not been a tornado here. It's not, it's just, I mean, I got one today, there's a mattress in the alley, just all those things. So 311, Man, I hope we can direct them.
We're gonna take them all. And that's one of the things about it is making everybody feel like theirs is the only issue that we have. Like,
Yeah.
that'll be our job
Yeah.
is to make them really feel heard.
Yeah.
But, also let them know that there was a tornado and,
She's
um,
not gonna hire me.
you can do the chat. You can taxpayer.
I mean, but I know you know this, I know that this is the plan, but as long as it works, right, and people get satisfaction and the thing I do like about this system is that, that it's gonna, give people feedback, right, when something did get done.
Yes,
And I
correct.
think that when people see that happen 2 or 3 times, that yes, I didn't send this off in the Never Land, right? I heard something back, it was taken care of, and I heard something back. That's when people are going to begin to use it and use it well, use it often, and maybe,
And tell their friends.
yeah,
And tell their friends.
yeah.
And we're hoping,
hoping.
and again, it's a vision right now, but we are hoping if we do get someone that is disgruntled or really upset about something, that it won't just be an automated response that comes back to them. We want to have our staff get the response and actually call them and follow up and make sure that they're satisfied. We'll see how that goes, but that's our goal, is to really put a personal touch on try to diffuse some of those
Well, I would vote for 3 more agents.
We're hoping the 3 is I'm hoping the 3 they're gonna be busy. I mean, I'm hoping it takes off that much.
Yeah.
I need a specific one for District 1.
We need 1 per district.
Each get one.
Hey, Heather,
One suggestion.
Richard and I correspond with somebody who will remain nameless, but is a continual constant. And Richard has a wonderful phraseology. In his email chain, he says, as previously discussed.
Oh, yeah.
As previously mentioned.
Like I've already told you.
That's the chatbot that went wrong, right? I've already answered that question.
That's why I'm not gonna be hired.
Right, nobody in this room.
I mean,
So
really,
if we get a phone call, can we refer it to you?
Yeah.
That's great.
Not yet. Yeah, not yet. Well, I mean, you can.
when Richard writes this, it releases my anger. And because he's so pleasant, it's nice. It's like saying you stupid idiot without saying you stupid idiot.
Oh, so Richard, when you retire, come see me. I have a chair for you.
I was actually gonna say, I think you have to hire people who are very far away from retirement. I think that's the key. The closer you get to retirement, the worse at that job you're gonna be.
Susan, just remember, there comes a time when saying you stupid idiot is very sad.
But when saying, as previously mentioned, 233 times, it's so wonderful.
Just referred.
And so too, if you know somebody that would be good at that kind of job, I know we're kind of joking about it, but if you know somebody, we're gonna be looking for, customer service is gonna be, it's gonna have to be that patient person. I won't be answering phones either.
What is gonna be the approximate pay there?
I think it's gonna be the same as our customer service reps and utility business office, and it's around $18.
What is it?
Around $18 an hour. I don't know the exact change on it.
That's not remotely enough for the level of patience you need. I mean, $1 million an hour.
Yes.
Started her.
Do you have to have definite patients?
Oh,
I've got a couple of them that are some really good at utility office patients, so I'm hoping to find more.
Good. Thank you.
Yes.
Appreciate it.
all right.
All right, moving on, we will hear from, we'll hear from Natalie with the library.
Yes, good afternoon. I'm going to talk to you today about some of the things that have happened that we've accomplished with the library and museum, and then some of our plans coming up here shortly. So as you know, we are a department of 46 employees. We currently have 3-ish facilities. I say 3-ish because the archive is, a little spread out. And we're open 123 hours a week. We are an education, recreation, preservation, third place for our community that enhance art and culture. And this is our team. So with us today, this is Elizabeth. She was at the last meeting that we were here at, but she is our new assistant director of libraries and museums. So she's still very new, and we're very happy to have her. And then we have our administrative assistant and our facilities manager. At the library, we have a supervisory team of 4 over circulation, adult services, youth services, and outreach. And our archives and our museums, we have Craig Ordner, who's our archivist, and then Alicia Richardson is the museum manager. So this is a picture from our summer reading kickoff party that just happened this past Saturday. If you couldn't make it into the building that day, I understand it was busy. We ended up having 1,035 people show up for that 2-hour event. So kudos to the team for handling that large of a number of people in that short of a time span, and to communications and marketing for helping us get the word out and get people excited about what we were doing. And a special thank you, to Temple PD for being there. I think the snow cones are probably what did it. So it was a really good time. So in the past 90 days, this is some of the programs and services that we've provided. So as I mentioned, the summer reading kickoff party, we had 1,035 people. Some of our other notable events, we had free comic book day on May 4th. We had 564 people there for the program that day. We also did our first year participating in DIA, which is Day of the Book, Day of the Child, or Dia de los Niños. And so it's a predominantly focused on Spanish language materials for children, but it's diversity in books for kids. So we had a big party, cakewalks, free books, all kinds of activities. So for this being the first year and getting 146, we were pretty excited about that. We also, during the time that Ralph Wilson was open on Thursday and Friday, our staff, because the library was closed, we had a little bit of flooding, a little bit of power issues, so we couldn't be open to the public. So our staff went to the shelter and provided services there. So we took books, we brought activities, coloring pages. We got to meet some really amazing and resilient kids and parents in our community. And when we had our summer reading program or kickoff party on Saturday, we saw several faces. It was their first time in the library, but they heard about us and they knew that we were having the party because we were there with them on Thursday and Friday. So that was a really, really beautiful moment. Some other things that we've had going on, we attended the Texas Library Association conference this year. The Temple Police Department did a security review of our building and gave us some really, really important information about access, security, how to strengthen the physical security in our building. And IT is always helping us with our digital security and cybersecurity. So with that, there was a partnership there, and that IT has updated our camera system, added additional cameras throughout our building. We also had some offices moved. As you may be aware, communications and marketing is now on the 3rd floor of the library. And we moved the archives last week out of the basement of the HPO, which is great because it did flood down there as well during the storm. So they are now in a much drier location. We added some mirrors to the stairwells in the library. And then again, like I said, we did that programming at the emergency shelter over at Ralph Wilson. So in the next 90 days for the library, this Saturday, we have an event called Crafter Palooza that will be going on. That's about 6 hours of crafting. So if if you need to loosen up your hands or stretch out and get ready, it'll be a good time. We've got several different performers coming in this summer for all ages. So Painting Party with Susanna for adults, Sock Monkey Circus at Oscar Munoz for our children, Joe McDermott, who's always a big hit, home organizing, photography, the singing zoologist. And then we've been partnering with Partners Resource Network to provide programming and information for parents whose children have autism. And so this is one of those, it's the How Sensory Issues Affect Children in Schools. This helps parents advocate for their kids in schools. We'll also have sound journeys and then some projects we're working on. It's in the business plan right now for us to update our ILS and to get RFID technology for our materials. So we'll be working on those RFPs in anticipation, of course, of the budget for next year. We're working on the lighting project right now. We're working on a speaker project right now to put speakers throughout the library building. And then we started on the mirrors in the stairwell, but we're still working through that. So some of our key performance indicators this year for circulation so far this year, both physical and digital, we are at 241,524 items as of the end of May. For our door count, which is the number of people that come to the door, we are at 107,451. And that doesn't include summer reading, but that was June 1st. Our program attendance so far this year, we're at 14,751. And then our savings to the community. So this is based on the number of materials that are checked out. There's a price tied to that item when they check it out. And this is the cumulative total up to the end of May this year. We're at $2.5 million that we've saved our community members. Moving on to the museum. In the last 90 days, we have attended and presented at the Texas Association of Museums. In fact, our museum manager was presenting on historic sites. So she did a presentation on preservation, volunteer organization, deaccessioning, and all things related to historic buildings and sites from a museum standpoint. Cameras have been updated and added at the museum as well. After the storm on May 22nd, when we all headed back into town to see what was going on, we did flood in the museum. So for about 3 hours, the museum manager and I were in our rain boots and had our mops out, and we're mopping up the floor. So floor is fine, the wood is fine, everything is okay. And other than it being a little hot, it was a good time. And then we also supported the Temple Children's Museum along with Councilmember Grant at the annual Celebrity Host Dinner. There may be a picture of that floating around somewhere. For the exhibits and programs that we've had so far, so we recently had the Elliot Erwitt Dog Dogs exhibit, Animal Sciences, Geek Out and Hidden Figure Family Days, Puppy Love program. We had our Train Day program this year, and I believe it was
97, I think.
497 people came to Train Day. So that was the largest number of attendees that we've had in quite some time. We've just started with the Family Summer Passport program. So that's with local museums and libraries as well. So children can take their passport, go to different libraries and museums that are participating. If they go to all of them, they get a coupon that gives them a prize like free ice cream, free pizza, free painting party at various businesses in Temple and Alton. We just finished up with changing the face of Howard in the U.S. Senate, which was our temporary exhibit, and we're currently showcasing Yosemite people. And then we just finished up with the Beat the Heat National Campaign. So what we're looking forward to in the next 90 days is the model train workshop that we'll have on July 13th. We're going to do a last look, Yosemite people. So this will be an event that happens in the evening. It'll be the last chance to see the exhibit, but you'll also get to hear from a speaker about national parks, have some wine, have some hors d'oeuvres, and spend the evening in the museum. Muggle Mayhem is coming up on September 21st, and then we're making some facility repairs to the Centromod building, and then some roof repairs, and there's a little bit of damage to some of the walls and paint because of the storm. Our KPIs so far for this year, we've had 9,981 people come into the museum. And for our Family Day attendance, which is every first Saturday of the month, through a big program, and it's free to enter the museum, we've had 2,749 attendees to those programs. And this is us at the Temple Children's Museum. We were the game Clue. So you can see our lovely cast of characters there, and our table was the winning table. So we were very proud of that because we didn't know that you had to decorate your table until the night before. We scrounged around in our homes and in our driveways because I found a pipe that I was like, it was in my driveway, and I said, this is perfect. And we made it work and we won. So, thank you.
Yeah, thank you, man. Next, we'll hear from Stacy and the Strategic Innovation Group. Strategy. Strategic.
Yeah, strategic. So thank you guys for giving me a little time this afternoon. If you will remember when we closed out council's strategic planning retreat a month or so ago, we left with Brent and I having some work to do, taking council's recommendations, your thoughts and feedback from that planning day, and that we were going to go in and work on the strategic plan. So What we're gonna talk about this afternoon is some changes, some proposed changes to the 2025 strategic plan.
This is the new one,
Well,
or the new proposed.
it is, yes, let me explain.
Sorry.
No, it's okay.
Go ahead, sorry.
Sorry, so, what I want to orient you to the parts of the strategic plan that we're going to talk about today, and then to the document that you have before you. So, for this afternoon, we're going to talk about the focus areas, goals, and commitments. The initiatives and priorities are going to come to council when the strategic plan is filed with the business plan later this month. So this is the document that you have in front of you, and on the left-hand side, that is the current 2020 strategic plan. On the right-hand side, it is the draft of the 2025 strategic plan. This is organized by focus area. And then in the colored boxes, that's a summary of the changes from the 2020 plan that you'll find in the 2025 strategic plan. So I'm going to just really focus on those changes. And so for the high performing organization focus area, the first change is that we have revised the wording of commitment number 2 in goal number 1. So these bulleted items here are the commitments. So we're in goal number 1, the second commitment down. We have shortened that one. It used to say provide exceptional customer service, and you can see that here, foster an organizational culture of inclusion and cultural competency. We haven't dropped those things out. We've just moved them a little bit. So, but we did shorten that, or proposing to shorten that commitment to be provide exceptional customer service. So then change number 2, we moved commitment number 7 in goal number 1 from the communication and collaboration focus area. So we've moved a commitment that was in the communication and collaboration focus area back to this area. And we have reorganized it so that it is, so it is now this one here. Equip the city council and board members with the knowledge and tools necessary for effective governance. We've just moved that from communication and collaboration over back here to high performing organization. And then we deleted goal number 2. So this goal here, we've deleted that one simply because it felt a little bit, when Brent and I were talking it through, it doesn't make a whole, these 2 goals, goal 1 and 2, kind of seem like splitting hairs of the same thing. So we didn't delete any of the commitments here. We've just removed this goal, and now all of those commitments fall under goal number 1. If that makes sense. Do I have any questions? It might be easier to go focus area to focus area if y'all have any questions on those changes. No? Okay, keep going. For communication and collaboration, we've revised the wording for goal number 4. You'll see it used to say empowered community leaders who foster collaboration, engagement, and participation. We have reworded that to be more focused on our partnerships and our collaboration with other governmental entities, so that it is focused more on our legislative affairs program and that kind of thing. So it now reads empowered community leaders who foster collaboration, engagement, and participation through strategic partnerships with local, state, and federal government entities. And then that commitment under there is really related to those intergovernmental relationships that will be supported through our legislative affairs program.
Is that wording correct? Empower community leaders who? Or should that be 2?
We are saying we have empowered community leaders. Our community leaders are empowered to do these things. So I think the wording is correct, because the who is speaking to the type of community leaders that we have, not saying we are empowering them to do that.
I got it. Okay.
We're saying they already foster
Yes.
collaboration, et cetera.
And that they're empowered.
Right.
So for the change number 2 there, we revised the wording of commitment number 1 that is in goal number 4. So it used to talk about cultivating a collaborative approach to governance and enhancing access to services in the community. We've, again, like I said, we've really honed that in and focused that to be on our intergovernmental relationships. Change number 3, we moved commitment number 2. I mentioned this earlier. We moved this commitment number 2 that we moved over to high performing organization. I pointed that out when we were on that page. And then change number 4, we moved commitment number 3 in goal 4 to goal 5 and revised the wording. So commitment number 3. So this commitment here, we moved to this goal and we revised the wording. So it used to say expand opportunities for engagement and participation in the community. It's now going to say expand opportunities for engagement and participation in the community to increase opportunities for bi-directional sharing of ideas and feedback among stakeholders. And that is one of the, we made that change because it was some of the feedback that we received. It was one of the priorities that came from the strategic plan working group. So we wanted to include that ideas around bi-directional sharing of ideas because that was something that they mentioned as a priority.
What do we mean by bi-directional?
So what they're really talking about there is that they want to make sure that not only are we communicating to our citizens, but we're giving our citizens a way to communicate back to us. So there is that two-way communication. So for places and spaces, just one real change to talk about here. We added a new commitment to the goal number 6, and then we reordered it so that that commitment's number 3. So we added this new commitment here was to create and promote culturally diverse events and activities through partnership. Again, that's something that came out of the strategic plan working group. That was one of the priorities for this focus area. And then this used to say public safety. So one of the first changes that we have proposed here is that we change the public safety focus area to be health and safety. That follows through with the revised wording for goal number 8. Instead of saying a safe and healthy community, we have just flipped it a little bit to say a healthy and safe community. To track with the focus area name. And then we have added commitment number 2, which is about enhancing facilities, programs, and services for those experiencing homelessness and other vulnerable populations. That's really where all of the work that Nancy's group is doing with the Arbor of Hope and some of those other programs and things that we're working on will fall out under that commitment now. Any questions here? And then finally with smart growth, we for the changes, we've revised the wording for goal number 9, really just to bring in the idea of safe, our community growth being safe and smart community growth. That's really the only change there. We revised the wording of commitment number 3 in goal number 9, just really to add the idea of our solid waste services being sustainable. So it's now provide responsive and sustainable solid waste and recycling services. And then the third change there, we added commitment number 5 to goal number 9. So that ensures sustainable water resource management to meet the needs of the community now and into the future. Again, that came out of the strategic plan working group and their suggestion of a priority around water resources. And then the last change there, revised the wording of commitment number 2 in goal 10. And so what we've done, it was facilitate high quality, safe and strategic community growth. Again, from the strategic plan working group, the idea of multidisciplinary, using a multidisciplinary approach to facilitate high quality, safe and strategic community growth. And so that is all of the changes.
Wait, Stacy, wait. The last one, use a multidisciplinary approach. So we added the multidisciplinary approach. What exactly do we mean there?
Well, I don't know. I'm going to ask Richard. that I can't remember what they were talking about
Okay.
I
there.
think it means making sure that we have all of the different stakeholders at the table. So when we're talking about growth, we're including Chief Reynolds and his team as we look at issues that might impact the police department. That we're bringing all of the different areas together so that we're looking at growth needs comprehensively. So we're considering open space and green space, traffic needs, public safety, fire needs,
Drainage.
yes, drainage, all of the different considerations that go into planning for growth and development. They're represented, and I think that was intended in the original wording of the goal and the way, or the commitment and the way that we function. But it was important. It was an important point to the focus group that worked on the team that worked on that focus area, that we that really highlight the need for multidisciplinary. So we're suggesting that we actually reflect that language within the commitment.
Good, thank you.
That's exactly what you were saying.
So that, for all of the changes that we're presenting today for the focus areas, goals and commitments to the 2025 strategic.
As Stacy already said, we're continuing to work on the initiatives and the priorities as we finalize our budget process and what we would bring forward as recommendations to you. But we just wanted to share kind of a progress report of where we are at this point in the process. So again, not as we talked about it at our strategic plan session, that there's not, we're not starting from scratch. We're building upon what the 2020. We're also planning on creating a document. Stacy's working on a document that will be a report back to all of the working group members that reflects how we took their feedback and how that's been incorporated within the recommendations, so that there's a clear link to what they told us and what they said was important and how we reflected that in the plan.
That's wonderful. Looking for them to see that.
Yeah.
Very good. Council, anything else for Ms. Hawkins? Thanks for your work. All right, it is 3:46. I will adjourn the meeting, this workshop, and we'll move into executive session. And we will receive an update from the city attorney regarding ongoing litigation. The city council will enter into executive session to seek the advice of its attorney on pending or consequential litigation pursuant to Texas Government Code Section 551.071. And will conduct a private consultation with its attorney on a matter in which the duty of the attorney to the council under the Texas disciplinary rules of professional conduct of the State Bar of Texas clearly conflicts with Texas Local Government Code 551 and ongoing conversation. No final action will be taken. Thank you.